Japan is an Eastern Asian country. Located in the northwest of the Pacific Ocean, it's surrounded by the Sea of Japan from the western side, the Sea of Okhotsk from the northern side, as well as the East China Sea, Philippine Sea, and Taiwan in the south. The capital and largest city of Japan is Tokyo, followed by major urban centers like Yokohama, Osaka, Nagoya, Sapporo, Fukuoka, Kobe, and Kyoto. Japan, one of the world's largest and most advanced economies, can take pride in its well-educated workforce and a significant consumer market. With a GDP of approximately $4.7 trillion in 2016 and a population of 126.9 million, Japan enjoys a high standard of living. After its remarkable revival from the Second World War, Japan transitioned from basic textiles to advanced manufacturing and services, which now dominate its GDP and employment. Primary industries, including agriculture, contribute just 1% to its GDP. Has Japan's economy always been so stable? Has this powerful country ever been in financial trouble? More on that in the video. What is the lost decade in Japan? Between 1991 and 2001, Japan faced significant economic challenges. The country experienced a price increase in its housing and stock market bubbles, leading to a decline in asset prices. The Bank of Japan responded by raising interest rates to control inflation, causing further economic problems. As a result, Japan's stock market took a fall. Banks faced collapse or government bailouts due to high speculative investments. Businesses closed down, and unemployment rates kept getting higher. Japan entered a prolonged recession, even worsened by a liquidity trap where the central bank's efforts to stimulate the economy seemed ineffective. Different measures, including interest rate cuts and large-scale public work projects, were attempted but proved not helpful. Eventually, through a process known as quantitative easing, the central bank flooded massive amounts of yen into the economy, generating inflation and encouraging consumer spending. This gradual recovery marked a turning point for Japan. What was the cause of this event? In the 20th century, Japan underwent an impressive economic transformation, evolving from an agricultural nation in the 1960s to the world's second-largest economy by the 1980s. Japan's ability to produce high-quality products at low costs made them widely looked after worldwide. Sony Walkmans, Japanese cars, and Japanese-made TVs have become commonly used. The key to Japan's success was its unique business structure known as the keiretsu, which created a tight network centered around a main bank. These interconnected groups held most of the shareholder interests in each other, allowing for innovation and providing ideal conditions for testing and redesigning new ideas before bringing them to the broader market. One famous example is the Mitsubishi Group, made up of companies like MUFG Bank, Mitsubishi Electric, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, and Mitsubishi Corporation. Together, they employed over 80,000 individuals across the automotive, energy, chemicals, and food sectors, effectively acting as their supply chain. During the 1970s and the 1980s, the Japanese Ministry of Internal Trade and Industry facilitated keiretsu's growth by offering easy credit and protection from foreign competition. This allowed them to become highly efficient production units before trying out export programs. As a consequence, Japan's electronics, computer, automotive, and aircraft industries experienced rapid expansion. The country's successful businesses were accompanied by a thriving stock market, with the Nikkei stock average reaching a record high on December 29, 1989. Real estate prices also skyrocketed, especially in commercial land, which grew by over 300% between 1985 and 1991. However, speculative bubbles formed, fueled by real estate speculation and lenient lending practices. Banks extended loans without proper investigation, sometimes even without requiring collateral. Depositors had faith in the government-backed banks, and the banks believed they would receive government assistance, which resulted in a combination of increasingly risky deposits given to speculators. In an attempt to counter the inflation and deflate the bubble, the Bank of Japan raised interest rates sharply from 2.5% to 4.25% in late 1989, and even further to 6% in 1990. However, these rate spikes resulted in a wave of defaults as borrowing became more expensive. Several keiretsu banks faced collapse, posing a threat to entire industries, and the stock market experienced a significant decline. Within just a year of reaching its peak, the Nikkei had lost over 43% of its value by December 1990. What happened during the lost decade in Japan? During the period from 1991 to 2001, Japan experienced a severe economic recession characterized by a decline in GDP, resulting in the fact that many people were unable to repay their debts and faced financial ruin. Major banks such as the Hokkaido Takushoku Bank, the Long-Term Credit Bank of Japan, and Nippon Credit Bank faced failure. The previously accessible credit from the banking networks was no longer available, leading to the dawn of the keiretsu system. Many businesses either went bankrupt immediately or faced a slowing down in production, causing them to lose their competitive advantage over time. The once stable employment landscape, offering lifelong job security, was now struggling with high unemployment rates, disproportionately affecting recent graduates and young workers. The recession had a huge impact on consumer confidence, resulting in decreased demand and the onset of deflation. Both of these factors created a dangerous and challenging environment for the Japanese economy. Interestingly, there were surprising social effects of the lost decade. Contrary to common belief among economic commentators, qualitative studies conducted in Japan revealed an unexpected finding about the lost decade's economic stagnation, as it witnessed a measurable increase in life satisfaction. In contrast, the period of rapid growth in asset prices did not lead to a corresponding improvement in well-being. This gap can be attributed partially to the asset bubble contributing to economic inequality, while the post-bubble era has witnessed greater economic equality and increased government spending on social welfare. These insights from Japan align with concepts like degrowth and alternative metrics such as gross national happiness or GNH. They challenge the notion that economic growth alone should serve as the main indicator of a society's success and well-being. Before we move on, here's a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video and hit the notification bell so that you're always up to date with world news. So now, how did Japan manage to recover? Even though the central bank tried multiple times to help with the situation, Japan faced many challenges. The recession didn't back away, despite slashing interest rates to zero and keeping them low for an extended period. To regain trust, the Japanese government carried out large-scale measures to stimulate the economy. They built infrastructure projects, even if not entirely essential, to create more jobs. Although these initiatives helped improve the economy, they also increased the country's long-term debt without completely overcoming the economic downturn. The turning point came with the introduction of a quantitative easing program by the central bank in 2001, which lasted until 2006. By 2003, the GDP experienced a healthy growth rate of 2%, and exports bounced back, mainly influenced by China's rise on the world stage, as many Chinese products relied on Japanese components. Finally, what can we learn from Japan's lost decade? The echoes of Japan's lost decade were seen in the 2007-2008 financial crisis. This time, it was the US housing market that fueled a bubble with risky mortgages. When interest rates went up, homeowners with adjustable rate mortgages struggled to pay higher monthly bills. Banks made money by packaging these mortgages into securities, which were traded globally. As mortgages failed, it caused a chain reaction, affecting investors and causing a credit crunch. Lehman Brothers and their institutions went bankrupt, triggering a global financial meltdown and the Great Recession. Under Ben Bernanke's leadership, the Federal Reserve took swift action to prevent long-term economic problems. They lowered interest rates to 0% for an unprecedented 6 years and implemented measures to boost the economy. The US Congress approved a $700 billion program to help banks and distressed borrowers. The Dodd-Frank Act was passed to protect consumers and limit risky trading by banks. By mid-2009, the US economy had rebounded, recovering much faster than Japan's experience. It was surely interesting to see how a country so respected and powerful as Japan is today actually faced serious financial problems in the past. This can come as a warning to other world nations, because, as we know, history likes to repeat itself. That's why financialists need to learn from previous mistakes and apply trusted solutions in case of an emergency. As of today, Japan's economy is more or less stable, but who knows if it will remain this way. That's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Feel free to voice your opinion in the comments section, and see you soon.